So people, look, everybody knows that Kanye West and Kim Kardashian are getting divorced, right? So the only way you can, so it's all over the news and they're getting divorced. And I think the last update I heard about the divorce was something to do with Kim Kardashian sharing pictures of the children on the internet, right? So I don't know. And there's been quite a bit of drama to go back and forth, but it hasn't really been crazy drama. I like to really just call it Cold War drama, or they're having a Cold War. That's maybe one way to say it. For example, I think, there was one situation where, well, not, one situation, but, at one point, Kim Kardashian started dating Pete Davidson, right? And my whole take on that is that to me, it just doesn't make sense that she would date somebody like Pete Davidson. I mean, he makes money, and it's really not about the money, but he just doesn't seem like her type, right? But of course, Pete Davidson is successful. He makes money, and he's a really good comedian. I like Pete Davidson, but the whole the him and Kim Kardashian really just doesn't make any sense. I could be blind, I could just be making a mistake here, but so there's that, right? There's that, and then I think Kanye and Pete had kind of an altercation at one point, right? So there's that, and again, it's not really crazy drama. It's more of Cold War type stuff, right? That's what I like to call it. Whereas you're doing little things that aggravate each other, but you're not going so far or so extreme as to do anything to actually hurt one another. So my whole personal opinion of this divorce is that it seems to be one of the best divorces that I've seen, right? Recently that I've seen, right? There's been some crazy divorces out there, but this one doesn't seem so crazy. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Do you think Kim Kardashian's divorce with Kanye West is crazy, mild, or non-eventful? But here's the thing. This is what I noticed about the divorce, right? Besides the fact that she's dating Pete Davidson, and I think that whole thing with them, right? Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson, that whole thing, I think she's actually just dated him because she wants to make it real to Kanye that she wants to get a divorce. She wants to bring it into his state of consciousness, because you know how men can be, or people can be in general, when you say that you want to break up and you've been together for so long, the other person really just doesn't believe it, and psychologically they're always going to do things to try to win the other person back. So I think Pete Davidson is kind of a barrier, right, to let Kanye know that it's over, right? And then the beautiful thing about that is that once the divorce is final and Kanye West finally gets it, I think she can pretty much easily let Pete Davidson go, right? She can easily break it off with Pete Davidson without any fallback, or without Pete Davidson being attached. She probably told him, "Hey, look, this is just a fling." If they even really dating. To be honest with you, I don't even know if they're actually dating, but if they are really dating and not just putting on the scene, I'm pretty sure that once the divorce is final, once Kanye gets it in his head that this is over, then she can easily walk away from Pete Davidson and just go off and do her own thing. But I could be wrong. Maybe this whole thing with Pete Davidson is real. Maybe she'll end up marrying Pete Davidson. You guys let me know what you think. Comments below. But here's the thing. I think Kanye has also hooked up. You guys know that Kanye West also has a relationship. He has a relationship with Julia Fox, I believe. And to me, that relation just doesn't make any sense. To me, it seems like a rebound relationship. But I think Kanye has to be careful because he is breaking off, he's getting divorced, and he's separating from the woman that he loves, right? And I think Kanye basically loves Kim Kardashian down to the bottom of his motherfucking soul. I think he has to be careful at this point, because it's like you're coming out of this and you can easily fall into something you don't want. And I don't know much about Julia Fox. I'm not saying she's a bad woman. I'm not saying that their relationship would never work, but to me it's just too soon for you to get into something so serious. And the way the media is portraying them, as serious. Now, hopefully, Kanye West has enough sense to not get serious after coming out of a divorce or going through a divorce. I think Kanye should just be wilding out, to be honest with you. I think, honestly, there's two options, right? In my mind, there's two options. Either you go out and you wild out and you just have 2 or 3 girlfriends, right? You have 2 or 3 girlfriends, and each one of them know that, hey, I'm just having a fling, I'm going through some things, I just need some female company, boom, and that's it. Or you do these sirens, these motherfuckers, I hope they ain't coming for me, or I hope my house is not burning down. Or you do the total opposite. And you go celibate. Right? You go celibate, and you say, you know what, maybe this is a good time to just focus on me, maybe make some more music, maybe do some other projects that I've always wanted to do and just never had time to do it, or maybe some traveling, or just maybe hanging out with some family or something, but not focus on women at this point, just focus on other things and use that celibate energy to create new music, to launch new projects, maybe make a movie. I think Kanye could potentially be a really good filmmaker if he partnered up with the right people and he collaborated with the right people. I think he can be just as a great filmmaker as he could be a music maker, right? So he just needs to be connected with the right people, right? Not to go off on a tangent, but that's my whole take on this. And I think the one thing that he shouldn't be doing appears to be what he's actually doing. And again, you know how the media is, they portray things a certain way and they want you to believe certain things, so they continuously spam things out there and they put their own narrative out there. But to me, it looks like he's being serious with Julia Fox, and I just think that's way too soon for him to be getting serious. Whereas when you look at you look at Kim Kardashian and you look at Pete Davidson, it doesn't seem like it's serious at all, right? You don't even take that relationship serious. Of course, I could be wrong. Comments below, let me know, do you think Kanye should wild out? Do you think Kanye should go celibate? Or do you think Kanye is doing the right thing by focusing on another relationship which appears to be serious? And do you think it's too soon for that, right? So comments below. And also let me know if you think Kim Kardashian, Pete Davidson relationship is real, right? To me, it just seems like Pete Davidson is just a stand-in guy, right? But anyway, so let me get into what I noticed about the divorce proceedings. So now I'm over here, not proceedings, but the divorce paperwork. So I'm over here at the Sun, right? And I'm looking at the Sun and I'm going through some of this paperwork. And of course, I'm just grabbing this off the internet. I don't know if this stuff is legit. I don't know if this stuff is the actual paperwork. I just really just don't know. I'm just grabbing the stuff off of the Sun's website. I actually did think about actually logging into some court system and trying to pull the documents myself. But I don't know if I necessarily want to pay for that. So you guys let me know what you think about these documents. But this is the one takeaway that I got from it. So let's just go through some of this really quick. So the legal grounds for divorce is irreconcilable differences. And this is interesting. This is very interesting because this is Kim Kardashian, right? She's filing the petition. And the very first thing that I noticed is that when it comes down to child custody and visitation and parenting time, right away, she chose joint. She chose joint legal custody, right? And she chose joint physical custody of the children. So to me, this is a sign that this woman, damn, these sirens, man. I hope they're not coming from me. So to me, this says something. This says a lot. Because a lot of times when people get divorced, they use them kids. They use them kids, y'all, and they use them kids to try to punish the other person. Now, some people, they get the kids and they want to use the kids as a source of income. They want to treat the kids like an annuity. You know what I mean? You getting regular checks every month. and you're not necessarily using that money to take care of the child. You're using that money to go and buy yourself condos, or you're using that money to go and buy cars, so on and so forth. And again, I'm not even finna try to female bash or anything like that, but everybody has heard the crazy stories out there. Everybody has heard the unfairness of all that. And when I see stuff like this, when I look at her immediately filing joint custody, physical and legal, to me, this looks like a person who is not necessarily trying to hurt Kanye. Y'all let me know what you think. And this looked like a person who's not trying to get paid. And to me, this looks like a person who's not evil, because this is my personal opinion. Unless your spouse is a drug addict, unless they're, a criminal, or they're Jack the Ripper, they run around slashing motherfuckers at night or whatever, there's no reason to not share custody. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever. And typically when people just say they want sole custody, right? They want to have sole custody. That's because they're trying to use kids as power and control. You got power, control, and money. You guys let me know what you think. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Do you think that there is no reason to not share custody? I mean, besides the obvious stuff, like I said, the other partner, running around, doing drugs or killing people, or just something extreme. But beyond that, do you guys think there's a reason to not do joint custody? And do you think people who do who do try to do sole custody, or they try to use the kids as a power card, do you think those type of people are selfish, right? So that's the first thing I noticed about it, and I just find it amazing because most of the time people try to go for sole custody in general, and I think that it says a lot about Kim Kardashian asking for joint custody, or offering joint custody from jump. So, this tells a lot. I read a lot into this. Maybe she is truly done with the relationship and she wants to move on, and she's not leaving anything on the table to fight over, right? That's what I take from this. What do you guys think about Kim Kardashian offering joint custody from the get-go, right? Then the other thing I noticed spousal or domestic partner support, and then it says terminate in the court's ability to award petitioner respondent spousal or domestic partner support. So again, another amazing thing about Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's divorce. Who does this? Who goes to court and tells the court that I want joint custody for the father, I want the father to have legal joint custody, and I want the father to have physical joint custody? Who does this? Who? Right? And then she goes around, and then she goes, in terms of spousal or domestic partner support, I want the court to terminate in the court's ability to award support to either me or the respondent. Who in the hell does this? To me, I want to say it doesn't make any sense, but it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense because my whole opinion, to be honest with you, I've never really had an opinion of Kim Kardashian, right? Other than the fact that she was a socialite and, she's attractive. I never really had an opinion. But to me, this has to be one of the most honest women that I've ever come across in my life, right? You guys let me know. Is Kim Kardashian crazy for not getting that bag, right? And I know what you're thinking. Kim Kardashian is worth a lot of money, and Kanye West is worth a lot of money. But I've known several women to have their own money, but they still want to spend your money. They still want to spend your motherfucking money. But here she is. She's like, nah. What you got is yours, and what I got is mine. And we can just both walk away, and we can just have a parenting relationship with our children, and there don't need to be no drama, and there don't need to be no unnecessary fight. Who does this? Who the fuck does this? And then it goes separate property, and then it goes confirm as separate property the assets and debts. The following list pursuant to the parties' premarital agreement, all assets and obligation of each party are her separate property. So it looks like there is a prenup, and maybe, and I could be reading more into this than that's actually there, because it looks like there is a prenup agreement, and maybe all this stuff is predetermined in the prenup. Maybe they just said, if we have kids, we're automatically going to have joint custody, and there's never going to be any spousal support, and there's never going to be any support for child support. I'm not sure if there's not going to be any child support, but to me, it looks like there's not. I'm not sure. I don't think Kanye would have a huge problem paying, so long as it's not outrageous. But to me, I have an extremely good opinion of Kim Kardashian. I don't think she would ask for something crazy, right? And so this whole divorce paper thing, to me, Kim Kardashian is just amazing at this point. She is an amazing woman at this point, because you typically, when you see a relationship over, typically, and I'm not going to say all women, I'm not even going to say most women, but sometimes we'll just say sometimes people want to be nasty, they want to be hateful, and they want to do any and everything they can to make sure you never have shit in life. And because they're not happy, because their life is fucked up, they want to come back and they want to punish you, because they know you're going to go off and have a happy life. So they like, nah, fuck that, I'm going to use his kids to destroy him, right? And I just don't see that happening so far, what I'm reading in these court documents. I mean, most of this stuff is amazing thus far, right? And then it says consent to, that's not important. Then his parties agreed to property and support. So they've already agreed to property and support. Probably in the prenup, parties intend to proceed by stipulated judgment. So they already got an agreement for all that stuff. And again, just reading on, this is a dissolution of marriage, and it says they're currently married, and the petitioner has been a resident of this state for at least 6 months, and this county at least 3 years, blah, 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 blah. Statistical facts. Date of marriage, May 24th, 2014. And they currently have 4 kids together, right? They currently have 4 kids. Northwest, St. West, Chicago West, and Psalms West. And yeah, so I'm just blown away by the stuff we read earlier. Then it says community and quasi-community property. Determine the rights to community and quasi-community assets and debts. All such assets and debts are listed. And then it says pursuant to the parties' premarital agreement, all assets and obligations of each party are his or her separate property. There are no community assets. Damn. So it looks like somebody was on point. Like I said, I could be wrong. Maybe the prenup basically determined what was going to happen. I still feel as though Kim is an honorable woman, because regardless of the prenup, people can challenge prenups. People can challenge prenups. They can destroy. They can nullify prenups. And she didn't take that route, because she could have said, nah, fuck that. I don't give a damn about that prenup. Nigga, I was drunk when I signed that prenup. You know what I mean? She could have came at him with that, right? And she could have just said, I want everything. I want to have sole legal custody. I want to have sole physical custody. And I want you to pay me. That's what she could have said, right? But she didn't do that, right? So regardless of whether or not the prenup basically predetermined all this stuff, I still think that Kim is an amazing woman. At this point, you guys let me know what you think. Do you think the prenup pretty much determined what Kim can ask for? And I'm not familiar with the state of California, and I'm just gonna be honest with you, I'm not familiar with prenups and marriages in general, right? But Maybe the situation in California is that, once there's a prenup, then that prenup is basically going to dictate whatever the divorce is, right? I'm not sure. If you're in California and you've had a divorce and there was a prenup, let me know how that worked out, right? Did you have to abide by the prenup, or were you able to break away from the prenup, right? And then it says other requests, attorney fees and costs payable, petitioner and respondent. Again, it looks like she's not going to ask for Kanye to pay attorney's fees, and she's not basically, to me, this is what I get out of this, she's not saying that she's going to pay Kanye's attorney fees. You just pay your own attorney fees, right? And again, I think that's another amazing point. If I'm reading it right, it looks like Kim Kardashian is not trying to be unreasonable with this divorce. And then, do you need an interpreter? No. Section 8, dissolution with minor children, marriage. Yeah, so that's just the gist of it, right? So to me, it just looks like Kim Kardashian is an amazing woman. That's my opinion. You guys let me know what you think. Of course, everybody has an opinion. I want to hear your opinion. Comments below. But this is the craziest divorce filing that I've ever seen. And when I say it's crazy, I say it's crazy because it's not typical. It is just not typical. Sometimes people just want you to pay just to destroy your life. And I'm not seeing it. I think that, I don't know what could have happened between these two. But honestly, I think that marriage is just a thing of the past, right? And I think that older people, people in their 40s, they may disagree, but I think there's a lot of people out there that have been married, a lot of men out there that have been married, and they have been royally screwed, right? So I just did a video on Dr. Dre and how much money he had to pay, and I just think with this situation, Kim Kardashian, she definitely wants a clean break, and she definitely wants to have good blood, good energy between her and the father of her children, right? She wants her and Kanye to basically have a good relationship moving forward. And who knows, maybe they'll get back together, maybe they won't, I don't know. But I think regardless, there'll always be family. And when you look at this divorce filing, you can tell that she will always have love for him. You can tell she'll always have love for him, because she could have been evil. She could have just asked for sole custody. And a lot of times, for the average Blow Joe, a lot of times women get sole custody of the children. Now, with celebrity divorces, that's a horse of a different color, because those people have money. And the other thing I noticed about Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, they're both worth a lot of money. So maybe that had a lot to do with the fact that she's not asking Kanye to pay anything. They both got money, and she's taking the high road. She's saying that I don't need your money, right? I got my own. You keep your money. The only thing I need from you is to love these kids, right? So, man, I've never seen anything like this. I have never seen anything like this, but to me, it just seems like she's an amazing woman, and she wants a father to her children. And I think that relationships don't really last long anymore. Right now, I think anywhere from 50 to 55% of all marriages end in divorce. So I ask, why even get married? Why? You may as well just shack up and just call it a day. And I think if Kim and Kanye had just shacked up, they wouldn't have to go through the formalities of actually having a divorce, right? They wouldn't have to go through these formalities of having a divorce. You take all your assets that you want to share and you put it in a corporation, or you put it in a living trust, right? So when it's time to separate, you just divide up what's ever in that corporation or living trust, right? Bob's your uncle after that, right? So that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that maybe Kim Kardashian should have taken him to the cleaners a little bit? Do you think that Kim Kardashian is a little bit soft? Or do you think, she's just an honest, amazing woman, right? And let me know what you think about the relationship between Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson and Kanye West and Julia Fox. Honestly, again, I've said this several times. I think the relationship between Pete Davidson and Kim, I think it's just a fling. And once this divorce is over, and I don't even want to call it a fling. I think it's the relationship only exists because Kim wants to get it through Kanye's head that the relationship is over, right? And I think Kanye is possibly making a mistake with Julia Fox if what the media is portraying is a reality and that looks like that there's a serious relationship there. I think there's a mistake. Again, I think that Kanye should just be wilding out, get 2 or 3 girlfriends, call it a day, or I think he should just go celibate. But having a serious relationship at this point, I think is a huge mistake because you don't really know where your head is, right? You haven't actually processed the divorce. You haven't even had a chance to process the divorce. And honestly, when men go through divorce and separation, and I know we want to be hard, we want to be gangster, we want to act like this shit don't affect us, but to be honest with you, I think men need a plan. Men need some type of action plan for divorce because I think most men, most guys I know, they want the relationship to last forever, right? But the reality of the situation is these relationships ain't lasting forever no more, right? And the other thing is that you have kids by another person, and when you have kids with someone, you feel that you're attached to the person. You automatically think that you're going to be with a person for the rest of your life. So I think what all men, not just Kanye, but all men should do when they're going through a divorce is that they need to see a psychologist on a regular basis. They need psychological therapy on a regular basis to help them get through that divorce. I don't even know if it's a thing, but I think it should be a thing. Divorce therapy, right? Divorce therapy is something that people need to do, especially men. I can't really speak for women because I'm not a woman and I have no insight of how a woman actually thinks. But I think as far as men are concerned, when we go through a divorce or when we go through a breakup, I think they're actually, and I don't know if it's a thing, it may be a thing, but I think we need to have divorce therapy so we don't make these mistakes, right? We don't make these mistakes of jumping in a relationship when we're not fully out of the other relationship and jumping into a relationship when we don't know the impact of ending the last relationship. Anyway, that's just me ranting. That's it for this video. Leave your questions and comments below and let me know what you think about this whole situation.